Welcome to Tamara Lynette Tells. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars. Married at First Sight After Party, Season 15, Episode 10. So this episode featured Mitch, Alexis, and Sarah Colonna. And you can find some clips from this episode on my Instagram at Tamara Lynette Tells. In honor of some of the rocky 1 month anniversaries, the signature cocktail was called the Muddy Month-iversary. It featured vodka, Irish cream, and chocolate liqueur. They played the clip of Caddy, also known as Morgan, telling her friend about Binh talking to Weeping Willow about their marriage. Keisha was like, Alexis, you know I'm coming to you. Help me understand, what did Binh say? She said she didn't want to get into details out of respect for their friendship. Oh, now you got tight lips. So basically all she would say is that there are things you tell your husband, assuming that it will stay with him, but Binh shared it with Weeping Willow, also known as Justin. So Keisha asked if she regrets telling her. She said she wishes she would have done it in a different way by urging Caddy to talk to Binh directly. I think she should have given Binh a warning at the very least. Hey, if you don't tell your wife that you're having these conversations, I'm going to tell her. But her just blabbing it? Better be glad you weren't in prison, Alexis, because in there, snitches get stitches. Well, according to the movies I've seen, they do anyway. Keisha said Caddy is mad about Binh confiding in someone outside of their marriage, so who is he supposed to talk to? And Alexis and Mitch seem to be in agreement that Married at First Sight is like a different world. If you confide in each other, it's like a sounding board, and it eventually will come out one way or another. But anyone else outside of the Married at First Sight world is fine to talk to. So Alexis said Caddy was saying talk to anyone but someone who is associated with Married at First Sight. I hear what they're saying and it makes sense, but I'm sure it's difficult when they are living in a bubble and seeing each other regularly to not talk about their marriages. It's like asking Maury Povich to never have baby daddy conversations when the man on the stage tests negative for being the daddy. He's got to ask, who do you think it is? Okay, maybe that's a bad example, but you know what I'm trying to say. Keisha played the clip of Caddy going off on Binh at their 1 month anniversary. Alexis said knowing she contributed to that in any way is breaking her heart. She could have minded her own business, but Caddy was in her face hurting, and Alexis thought telling her was the right thing, but it was wrong. Well, it sounded like she learned her lesson at least. When you think about it, Alexis and Binh did the same thing. They repeated confidential information that wasn't theirs to share. Then they played a clip of Alexis and Weeping Willow celebrating their 1 month anniversary where she's reminding him to stay positive and not focus on all of the bad stuff. Watching that back, she said it warms her heart and she's trying to be hopeful. Okay, so I guess that was a genuine moment they were having. I was thinking that she was just trying to get through the scene until somebody yelled cut. So Keisha asked if he's regained any of her trust back since the dog incident. She said she's trying, but once she detects some malice from someone, it's difficult to regain the trust. But they sleep in the same bed. He makes her breakfast every morning, and she takes him out on dates all the time. It kind of sounds like they have a little role reversal going on there. No judgment, just an observation. If you like it, I love it. And I think this is a good place to set this behind the scenes photo right here. No comment, just the photo. So Sarah asked if they are still celibate. Alexis says they are. She said, we tried to have sex, but to no success, and I'm just going to leave it at that. We tried. Wow, I think I could have lived my entire life without knowing that piece of information. Is nothing sacred with this couple? I don't even want to try to speculate what was going on with Mr. Everybody Wants Me for My Disco Stick. Moving on, Keisha played the scene at the group dinner where Alexis and Weeping Willow got into an argument. Keisha asked, what was this really about? So Alexis said based on past moments, she's gotten her feelings hurt because apparently when he gets upset, he can have outbursts where he's unhinged and says things that hurt her feelings. Ah, okay. So when Weeping Willow gets mad, he turns into a pine tree, all prickly and stuff. So Keisha told Alexis that her hard exterior is a cover for her sensitivity. She said she tries to be strong because both of us can be crying all the time. See, I know that gets on her nerves. But she said what was really bothering her that night was him noticing Mitch's changes, but he wasn't making any changes. But she didn't want to say anything because it wasn't really that serious. Keisha said, maybe you didn't want to say it with your words, but girl, your facial expressions was telling it. That is true. Thank you, Keisha. So Alexis said the drive home on the party bus was very awkward because he sat in the front by the driver while everyone else was in the back. I bet everyone in the back was like laughing and drinking while he was up there just pouting. Awkward. Alexis says she believes that they can actually make it past decision day. She may seem checked out at times, but she always comes back. So all in all, Alexis was much more optimistic about her marriage than I expected her to be. Being with Weeping Willow sounds like an emotional roller coaster. I would think she'd be worn out by now. But I would have liked to have seen her be more remorseful about the Binh and Caddy situation. She threw a match on a marriage that was covered in kerosene. I totally get that she was trying to help her little friend out, but it backfired. They showed the clip where Krysten hung out with her friend and was talking about Son of a Mitch being so critical of her house flipping dreams. So Son of a Mitch said watching that back gives him a different perspective on how his behavior affects others. They have a short amount of time to put themselves out there, so he's been a little more extra than normal, but now he's regretting some of the things that he said. I was happily surprised by Son of a Mitch's demeanor. He seemed to have no problem taking responsibility for his shenanigans. Keisha asked if he could see her perspective, her not feeling he's supportive of her dreams. And he said he does, and he knows he can come across as being on his high horse, but it's because his communication isn't that great and he hasn't had much relationship experience. See, again, is this really a show for people who don't have much relationship experience, though? Keisha said, Krysten has compromised a lot for you. Do you think you've compromised a lot as well? He said he could learn to compromise more. Looking back at Shirtgate and some of the things that he decided to make his little stand about probably wasn't worth it. For Shirtgate, he said, why didn't I just say I was cold and put on a sweatshirt? Dang, I didn't think of that either, but that's so true. That could have been something he could have done without anyone ever knowing why he was doing it. Then they showed the scene where Krysten said she's going to snap, and Keisha asked him what he thought about what she was saying. And he said he's really supportive of what she said. He thinks she's at a point where she's really coming into her own now, and he doesn't really want her walking around on eggshells around him. Okay, Mitch, I like that you're saying that, but you didn't really create a safe space for that, because it seems like you had a tantrum anytime she did anything that was against your extreme environmental beliefs. Keisha asked if he was surprised by what she said. He said it was news to him, but he thinks what happened is that they are coming into an equilibrium of their power dynamic. What he did at the honeymoon inadvertently shifted the power dynamic, which put her on the defense and caused her to overcompensate. And now they're at a point where they're shifting to being more equal players, which he says is good for the marriage. So in other words, he had the upper hand until now. Krysten was trying to win him over. Now that she has, she's like, I'm glad you like me and all, but this isn't who I really am. Son of a Mitch seems to be more self-aware now, but keep in mind that they taped this show after Decision Day. He appears to be in a healthier place, but it still remains to be seen if he's learned how to compromise in a situation where he's in a relationship with someone who isn't as extreme as he is. Bye for now.